In this session, we're going to study the radar horizon and radar ranges. Your radar horizon is calculated by a simple formula and is entirely based on the height of your radar above the waterline. The height we need is measured in meters and is from the waterline to the centre of the radome. So we first need the square root of this number, and we need to do this first so it gets a set of brackets. We then multiply the answer from this sum by a constant figure of 2.2, and this never changes. And this will give you an answer in nautical miles. Let's do a simple example. If we have a radar that's mounted 9 metres above the waterline, the square root of 9 is 3, and 3 multiplied by 2.2 is 6.6 nautical miles. So let's see exactly what this means and how it's going to affect the way we use the radar. In this situation here, some of the vessels shown will show up and some will not. Remember, radar is line of sight and the pulses travel in straight lines. So we're on the sailing vessel on the left with the radar, and vessel A shows up nicely as it's within our radar horizon. Vessel B is beyond and below our line of sight, but vessel C is, whilst it's beyond our horizon in terms of range, its radar reflector reaches high enough to show up on our radar. Whilst vessel C is beyond the range of our horizon, his reflector is above our radar's line of sight. This can be a little confusing, as you might assume that because we have a target on our radar at 8 miles range, that anything between should show up on the radar, and this is not the case. This is a dangerous assumption, and as always, assumptions should not be made when using radar. It's vital to be aware of your radar horizon every time you look at the radar screen and adjust the range. In the next example, a skipper on board the vessel here has a 9-metre antenna height, and he's observing the radar screen hoping to find the low-lying sandy coastline of the island. A target has appeared on his radar screen at a range of 8 nautical miles, but this is beyond his 6.6 nautical mile radar horizon. The low-lying sandy coastline is beyond the radar horizon, and it's below the radar's line of sight, so it's not going to show up. The much higher volcano, however, whilst it is beyond the radar's horizon, it is above the radar's line of sight, so it will show up on the radar. The skipper could make the very dangerous assumption that what he is seeing at the 8 nautical mile range is actually the low-lying sandy coastline, when in actual fact this is much closer than the radar image suggests. As the vessel moves closer to the island, eventually the low-lying sandy coastline will fall within the radar's horizon. And it will suddenly appear as if from nowhere on the radar screen. It's vitally important that each time you view the radar screen and adjust the range, that you are fully aware of where the radar horizon is on the screen. In this example here, we're on the 6 nautical mile range. So with a radar antenna height of 9 metres, that gives us a radar horizon of 6.6 nautical miles. So in this example, the entire screen is within our radar horizon. But as soon as we increase the range to, say, 8 nautical miles, the first 6 miles of the screen are within our radar horizon, highlighted here in green for the purpose of the animation, whilst the zone from 6 to 8 miles is beyond our radar horizon, highlighted here in red. So you could say the green sector is more trustworthy, in that if there is a target out there that's capable of showing up on radar, then there's a good chance it will be on the screen. If there are no targets showing up beyond the radar horizon, shown here as the red sector, this could be because there are actually no targets there, but it could also be because there are targets there, but they do not have any reflective surfaces high enough for your radar's line of sight. Increasing the range further still, There's only a very small section of the radar screen within the radar horizon. These green and red sectors shown here are just for the purposes of the animation. A real radar will not show you these zones, and it's up to you, the radar operator, to be fully aware of where your horizon sits on your radar screen. I'm not suggesting that you never look beyond your radar horizon, as most targets will have some height and therefore some range to contribute. So you can still monitor these longer ranges. But once you increase the range beyond your radar horizon, just be consciously aware that targets can and do pop up anywhere in that section beyond the radar horizon. Not all targets will slide in from the side. So in this session, we've covered radar ranges and the radar horizon.